Welcome to my garage. I have actually been sending live on Instagram, and I thought, yeah, why not try to learn how it works in YouTube as well. I'm not sure if anybody going to join on Instagram. It's more, impacting on definitely it's a more intense media, I believe, Instagram, and I actually genuinely think that that's more appropriate for live streaming. But nevertheless, I'm going to try this as well. So behind me here, I have my 928, and I've been live streaming on Instagram where I repair my oil pan gasket on my 928. So, what I'm doing is, this is the big chunk that I'm trying to fit in my car. So stock, this is actually cork, right? And what's happening is that, let's see if we could get a proper view. Here we have the old pan gasket. Yeah, I think that will do. So these bolts here actually loosen themselves. Yeah, that's actually the case because the gasket stock is made out of cork, and therefore over time my car is over 30 years old. Remember, only 72,000 kilometers, but nevertheless the cork gasket does not hold, so therefore it shrinks, and bang, have to replace it with a silicone one. So that's what I'm doing, and I've been quite active. As I mentioned, this is the third live streaming. It has been on Instagram before, so I'm just testing it out on YouTube as well to see if it is useful. So many parts has come off my car so far. So just to put my gloves on, and I will show you a few of the parts that has already come off my car. So starting with, all these pieces that comes underneath the car to protect the engine, etc. Those are quite obvious. But also the entire steering, not sure the exact English word for this, but the steering wheel comes right here, going up and then back up to the steering wheel. So that has already been removed. So next, also the heavy one, starting engine is off. And then yesterday I had a bit of a fight because this supporting rod came off yesterday. It was a tough live stream on Instagram, I tell you this one. Actually blood came out of that. Yes, you heard me right. So what happened was, when I tried to remove this, it was extremely stuck, and I tried to figure it out, and at one point sorry guys, I'm still with you. I took this crowbar and I bended it, and I hit myself in the ear, and yes, I still have a wound from that. So most likely I will get a 928 scar on my ear. Yeah, but that was the case. So a lot of blood yesterday on my Instagram live. Also yesterday we removed the engine mounts as well. So here we have them. And all of this just to get access. So this is all about accessing the old pan gas to be able to remove it. And then you can wondering why I'm doing this myself, and it's quite simple, because the more you know about your car, the better you could connect. So that's how it is. So today it's all about understanding the next steps of this operation. I definitely need to clean some parts up because it has been quite messy. That's the pure consequence of having oil leak, is get quite greasy underneath of the car. By the way, how is it in YouTube streams? Is it possible to question live chat? Absolutely. Hi Janko, love your content, especially the random ramble stuff you did a while ago. Keep up the passion and stay. Yeah, that would disappear. Hi Hi Radja. Just if you have any comments, guys, just throw them at me. We are doing that for hours on Instagram. If you haven't touched bases on my Instagram account, it's at jankolind. It's very easy to find. But if you have any question, just ask them. So let's see. Yeah, here we have. Okay, so great. I think I have learned it. Sorry for this. This is the first time sending live on YouTube, so I needed to figure out how to get access to the chat. And I hope that that I will get message as soon as you just give me a question. Just ask me anything. I've been doing that for hours. We started up, I think it was last Wednesday on Instagram. I performed live when I was doing this operation, and people had so many questions. I actually had also live the 888 MF from UK, Mark joined me, and we had a discussion about Porsche models and cars, etc. So yeah, that's pretty much. So if you have any question, do not hesitate, just tell me, and off we go. In the meantime, I'm gonna take a look at my case here, and yes, we have some grease here that we have to take care of. We have some, well, I'm not gonna give you the chance to review my floor because it's even more messy. I'm just gonna move position of the camera, so stay tuned with me. Welcome to my garage for new arrivals. So I'm just gonna start to clean out. Again, if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask them. But this is pretty much it. So while I'm doing that, let me talk you through this car, because this car has not yet been on the channel, and the reason for that is, well, I'm prepared, I'm getting to learn. Remember, the 928 is not a model that we have a question. Sorry, I'm not gonna forget. I'm gonna come back to my car, but I need, let's see, live chat. Are you gonna let the oil off today? Well, yeah, Radja, I think you were with me on the Instagram. No, I haven't let the oil go yet. I'm not sure why, because that's the next step, to be honest. But, you know, if I let the oil go, I need the filter, and I'm still waiting for some parts from Porsche Classic. So which car are you working with and why? That was actually in Swedish from Sven. It will be, vilken bil arbetar de med och varför? Well, actually, it is quite simple. It's my, let's back off again so you can see my car a bit more. Here we go. So welcome to my garage. So this is my Porsche 928. It's a 1988 model S4. And I am replacing the old pan gaskets. The stock one is made out of cork, and over years that terms, well, it shrinks, and the bolts that holds the old pan, well, they actually unscrew themselves, and well, basically they are lost. So I'm replacing to a silicone one, you know, getting that oil inside the engine instead of being around it, and also changing the engine mount while I'm at the work. So that's what I'm doing. Let's see if we had some, why does the, here we have lockdown in Chicago. Yeah, that's the problem now these days, isn't it? Everybody's locked down with the coronavirus, and we are stuck here. Well, actually, I don't feel stuck working with my cars, to be honest, but nevertheless, I hope your families, and I hope all of you that are there locked down in your home, that you stay healthy, wash your hands and all this. So here we have Scotland. When will the Spider first drive be online? Spring in Sweden. Well, I hope in a couple of weeks actually. So the plan is next week, I think it is, I will pick up a Taycan Turbo. I'm gonna have massive production with that. I have that car a bit short of a period, so I'm a bit worried on the quality and how I'm gonna make sure that really is okay. The Spider will, well, it depends on the weather. My best guess is I will get starting up driving it mid-April, I would say. Well, it's two problems. First, the weather needs to be more stabilized. We had -8 Celsius degrees this morning, and that means that they still threw some salt on the roads, which gets really greasy, and it's very tears the cars down. So we'll make sure that the temperatures stay about 24/7, and then I'm gonna also have to wait for cleaning the streets, because it's a lot of small stones, etc., from the winter, and old studs from tires that needs to be cleaned up. And obviously, yeah, that's what I'm waiting for as well. Even though I have PPF on my entire car, well, it feels better to have that clean. Mid-April, I believe, is the answer on when I will start to drive my Spider. So let's see if we have any more questions. Let's see. When will you Spider? No, I think I've done all the questions for now. If you have any questions, then do not hesitate to write them down. I will try to answer them. I've been doing that on Instagram since Wednesday, repairing and fixing my car, so don't just throw them at me. Yeah, I think I have done all the questions so far. Here we are, just joined. What's the plan today? Well, hi Eric. Well, the plan is a bit to clean. Let's see if I can have this on. Actually, could I ask for some help? I'm going to move myself, because I'm doing this with my cell phone to see if I can get this babbling content to you more rapidly. So I'm just going to move over here, talk a bit, and then come back. And if you just write the comments, please, if you can hear me well, the audio, so to speak. So I'm just going to move over here and I continue talking. So please, if the audio is good, you help me teach my quality here to see if you still are able to hear me. So if I then want to clean up my table, so you see what I'm doing. So let's see if that works. So please write in the comments if the audio was okay. Audio is good, Janko. Thank you, Simon, for contributing and helping me, because this is the first time I'm sending live. So this babbling is me also learning and teaching how to give you more content, because the sort of babbling videos has been quite appreciated, I would say. Yes, all good. Again, I've said it before, I hope you and all your family are doing good this Corona time. Catastrophic if you ask me, but here we are. It is what it is, and we're going to try to do the best out of it. Wash your hands. I think that's the main message here. So I'm just going to get it just a little bit closer here, and here's my messy table. Whew. So today's mission is to clean, so I'm going to see if I can use this pump and spray the cleaning. It looks like a mess. Who has been working on this workshop? It's me, yes I know, but it's so dirty everywhere. I mean, look at it. You're going to get close up. So here we go. It is so ridiculous dirty. Have a look at this table. I mean, what a mess. Have you ever seen such a messy workplace in your life? I should be ashamed. I'm most likely going to get 350 comments saying that get a grip, Janko, and try to sort it out. So that's what I need to do today. I need to clean up a bit. Okay, my dog is barking. Did you hear my dog barking? Actually, I think I got more question. Instagram is much better because I can, I think I could actually see live chat. So here we are, just drink from the wrong bottle. Radja, you agree. So audio is good, Janko, great. Again, feel free to ask me anything. And if you have any questions that you believe that I haven't answered, just go ahead. This is the first time for me live broadcasting on YouTube. But hey, it's Corona days. Why not do a broadcast? So what I'm doing today is that I'm cleaning up because I have reached the point where all the parts from the car has been removed. I have full access to the old pad, and well, I need to move to the second phase of the operation, and that's a good time where you clean up all the mess that you have created. And as I just showed you, I messed a lot, and this is something I don't appreciate on my workshop when the tools are getting dirty and they're not sorted properly. It needs to be done as good as possible. Actually, just gonna quickly move to that side, grab some paper and come back. Give me a second. On the meantime, throw a question at me. Actually, I actually like when our community asks ourselves questions. So the only thing that bothers me is that on Instagram I can see the questions always, but it seems like on this case that I don't have a live view on the question. That irritates me a lot. Yeah. Anyway. So YouTube, if you're listening, make sure that you cut the screen for you so you're able to see the live chat. On the meantime, question from me to you that are present right now. Would you appreciate if I just live streamed from my studio and you could ask me questions, right? And how should that be notified? That's a big question for me. So let's see. Here we have a question. I'm jealous of your car lift. I need to do some maintenance and my car need to lift it. That's great surprise, Janko, for a Saturday. Yeah, I'm also jealous about my car lift. I actually am. I am. Because I have been working so many years without a car lift, so I'm still jealous that I have one. That's I understand you. You know, having a car lift, makes the life so much easier to live, so to speak. So we have another question. So here we go. That's a great surprise, Janko, for a Saturday. Well, I'm not sure what the surprise is. If it is me inside of a camera, then it's very easy. It's better in a garage than in your studio. Okay? Okay. So, point taken. I will be in my garage and I will be babbling. So here we have a first question. What's your opinion on the new GT4 RS versus the GT4? Okay. So my opinion of that, I think we had that question on Wednesday when I broadcasted live on Instagram. If you haven't found me on Instagram, it's jankolind. Just search for that and you will find me. We have broadcasted for 2 days when I did the first phase when replacing the old pan gasket. So, opinion, GT4 RS. Well, first of all, I'm quite sure that it will only be a PDK in the RS. So the way I work when I find out information that has not been released is that I ask at minimum 3 people on different positions in the Porsche community. It could be at Porsche AG in Germany, it could be in good contacts that I have inside, so to speak. And when 3 people gives me the same information, then I start to talk about it. Until then, I don't. So let me give you an example. What I have currently, 2 people that has confirmed, meaning that I need 1 more, is that the GTS will 992 GTS will be naturally aspirated. So that is, I need the 3rd confirmation to really think that is valid. But it's quite hard. On the other hand, GT4 RS, I have 3 confirmation that it will only be PDK. So that's what I believe is most likely to happen. You remember, even though I get 3 right answers, that does not mean it is true, because it could easily be changed. That's very important to understand. But GT4 RS, yes, PDK, it would be a blast to drive. And I actually think that the Porsche need to get the Caymans more driver focused. I'm not sure if you remember when I said in one video, I referred it as BMW M3 and M5, where the M5 will be the 992 and the M3 will be the 718 Cayman. So I actually believe that is something that I need to do in order to keep the weight down on the driver's cars. I think the RS will be the track day car, to be honest. Yeah, it will not be a spa killer or fastest laptop or Nordschleife. That most likely will come to the GT3 RS coming versions. But from a driver's perspective, connected with the vehicle, I actually think the GT4 RS could be spectacular. So that's my first thought about that. More question I saw. So let's see. So do you still get to go driving? Yes, we are. Isolations, etc. Yes. According to the Swedish authorities, we are allowed to get together at maximum 50 people. You can go to my LinkedIn profile, just search for my name, Jankolind, and there I published, where I say I'm proud to be Swedish. There is a rational thinking about how the Swedish government has placed the order on how to approach the sort of coronavirus. We're doing a lot of things. So today, or actually today, from Sunday, I think it is, we are allowed to get together at maximum 50 people. So yes, you're free to drive your car, you're free to move along, but the people say that you should not travel. So meaning that jumping into the car, driving into some spectacular B road, coming home is okay. What we should not do is to go to another place and meet other people more than necessary. So yeah, that I think was the question for that. Wow, that was interesting about the 992G. Yes, it is. But remember, I only have 2 confirmations on that, meaning that I am not at all sure of that. It's very low on my scale at this point, but it could actually be the case. Still having trouble to understand how to get this. Okay, so really 992G national. Wow, if true, I'm getting it. Yeah, if it is true, oof, that would be so nice. What I'm actually trying also to get, but nobody has confirmed whatsoever, so there is 0. So remember, 3 is when I start to believe it, 2 perhaps, 0 then it's my own speculation, and it would be nice if they just lift the GT4 engine, the 3.0 400 plus horsepower, wherever it could be, into the 992 Carrera T. If that happens, I will not buy the GTS. I will go for the Cayman Carrera T in that order. So continue to clean up a bit. Tomorrow I have a big visitor. Johan is coming. He's gonna transport his Porsche 944. Our question is heading. I expect the 992 GT3 and GT3Rs only as naturally aspirated. I agree. I expect the I know that the 992 GT3 will be naturally aspirated. So that's the case. If the RS will be that I don't know. That's a different story. I've been stepping on these. So I've been stepping on these the entire day. So it's I bought them a couple of days ago. So it's kind of creates a shelf. So let me show you. I'm gonna give you up. The engine is currently on my car on these supporting engine support. I think is the correct word. And when I'm done with them, I'm gonna fit this shelf on top there, and then bang, I will store it. But I've been stepping on them, so I'm gonna remove these now, so I don't have to. Oh, a sticker. Remember this? I'm not sure if you remember this. It was when I fitted the roll cage on my Cayman T. I got this in the package. So more questions. So let's see. But you know what? Porsche to the sales numbers. That's why is the 780. Yeah, exactly. So Simon, hi. When the 982 was released, Porsche was very focused about telling the four-cylinder 718 story. Now we are back to the natural ultimate engine. How big a part of this do you think is because of the sales, and how much is due to new ways to measure the emissions? Good point. Really good point. This is a tricky one, but this is my speculation. First of all, when the 718 was launched, that was the first car that Porsche produced on the MMB platform to start with. Remember, the MMB platform is used by the 718, the 992, and perhaps you don't know, the upcoming Volkswagen ID3, the electric vehicle, will be on the same platform. So in that, everybody was starting to struggle with the emissions and all of that, and I think that was the main task of saying, okay, let's produce a four-cylinder. The downsizing is happening all over the place. We tried it on the Panamera S, where I think they went from V8 to 6 cylinders, and they thought, okay, how should we do it on a sports car, and adding it to the Boxster and Cayman. So I agree, that was the starting point. And I've said it so many times, for the very first time in my Porsche history, that's when I actually got interested in the Boxster and Cayman. And I think I've been trying to, I know that I'm the only person in the world that actually thinks so. And I understand why people want that flat six engine and the sound it creates. But, hey, it's a different tone of music. And I actually love the four-cylinder because it's a different tone. So if I want that flat six, I jump into a 911, right? And I appreciate that a lot. But then you're right, Simon, because then what happened was that the sales number took a big dive, and they realized, we need to keep up the volume of our cars. So what they put all the effort for them was to make the adaptive cylinder control that was first introduced to the Cayenne Turbo. So what happens is that they shut down the cylinders. So it does not shut off the engine, it just flips it around. So if you have four cylinders on each side, they alternate it. So they kind of place a piano in between each other. How should I explain it? They don't shut down. They kind of make a loop of all the cylinders. So it only runs on half of the cylinder. So that is the actual case with the new natural aspirated flat six engine that you will find in the 718 GTS 4.0, the Spider, and the GT4. It actually runs on 3-cylinder most of the times, and it actually then alternate between 2-cylinder on one side and then 1 cylinder going on the other side, and then they swap it back and forth. And suddenly they got the emissions down, and they are back, and they thought, okay, let's put this in to get the sales number running. And I think they will succeed, because my taste of having the 4-cylinder in the Boxster in China, yes, for sure, I'm the only one. So I think now the sales number increased. They will continue with this platform for a few years to come, and that's it. So, more questions here. Let's see, where am I? Bavarian car enthusiast, by the way, what do we think? Thank you for saying we. It's a community, guys. Will there be a new generation Boxster Cayman Boxster, or will there be a 2-seater electric roadster? Did you hear something from your back channels, Janko, somebody? First of all, Bavarian, thank you for really understanding that I love that we are a community. I get a big joy when I see comments being answered by someone else than me. That is, thank you so much. I actually know very little about the sport car being electrified, rather than the 992 will be electrified quite soon by adding a hybrid type of engine into the 992 in the Mark II version. Apart from that, I haven't heard anything about it, so, well, that's the answer. Actually, I need to throw some question on that. Good point, Bavarian. So let's go back. I think I had some more. Do you think production of the 718 GT4 Spider will be scaled back now with the coronavirus part available? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I've been struggling with that because I don't like Porsche's communication in this case. And it, again, I throw that on triangling, as I discussed earlier on this webcast, that I threw questions on different parts and I need validation on 3 points. So yes, there will not be as much availability on the Spider and GT4 as everybody think it will be, because it will have the same production time as the GT3.2. So 991.2 GT3, sorry. So that, and with the coronavirus, yes, obviously, that will affect the sales and the backlog of sales order when they start the factory again will not be GT4 Spiders. That will be the regular models. I will most likely think the 992 will really take over in production, affecting the numbers on the Spider and GT4. Remember, in Zuffenhausen, when you're visiting the factory, if you for any reason are in Germany, in Zuffenhausen, you could book a factory tour and you can see. If you do that, you will have an experience where the 992 Boxster Spider and when I was there, the 991.2 Turbo S was manufactured in the same lines. So it means that for a Spider to hit a place there, it needs to have space towards the regular models that are in higher sales volume. So it's very, yes, definitely it will affect big time the quantities being manufactured of the Spider in GT4. I'm a bit sad about that because I really wanted the Spider GT4 to be large numbers so that so many people as possible would be able to share these. Remember, especially the Spider, and that was the reason why I was so fortunate to be able to select between the Spider and GT4, and I was so happy that I could make the selection. And for me, the Spider was the obvious, adding nature to your drive, and then obviously, and most important for me, that having Andreas Preuninger team, getting the hands on the chassis and the aerodynamics on the 718 Spider, for me that was an extremely easy choice. Remember, you can still go on a beautiful track day with the Spider, you will have a blast driving it, and according to all numbers it has the same performance. So I'm so happy for all the questions. Just throw them at me. I'm going to try to get as many as possible answered. So let's see, where are we here? Production number, yeah. So back to Bavarian. Porsche officially halted production, 18th of March for minimum 2 weeks in Germany. Correct. Well, let's see. Sometimes also the problem is that many components comes from Italy. So you need to really get a good feeling about when the factory will start getting back in production. You need to follow what's happening with the corona in Italy, because that's where many parts come from. And if you, I mean, think of it. You only need one part to be missed out. One part to missed out for not being able to manufacture in the car. And as I've shown on Instagram, the fan inside the Spider, for example, on the Boxsters and Spider, the fan there is from Italy. And if they cannot produce it, well, no cars. So so let's hope they start the factory as soon as possible. So back to Eric. In US, GT car owners have received a very detailed survey future direction on the GT cars, but here in EU I haven't heard about it. I haven't got anything. How you heard anything about it? Uh, no, actually I haven't. I'm not sure if that survey had been sent out. Remember, I don't own the GT3 anymore, and that makes me not knowing if it has been sent. Quite interesting. I'd love to hear more about that. What kind of a survey is it, and for what reason? There is a problem in US and Great Britain where dealers are taking money underneath the table above list price, and that is a huge problem that affects the entire Porsche community and damage the Porsche community. It is, for me, swearing in the church if you, as a Porsche authorized reseller, sell a car above list price. I don't appreciate it a lot. I don't appreciate it at all. I think it is they should go in jail for that. Sorry. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but nevertheless, I don't like it at all. So I hope the survey is all about that and that we will get clearance about that. So back to SS. So under the umbrella of that, yes, unfortunately, yeah, most likely SS, you replied to me from things that I have said. Nordman. Oh, hello, yeah. Hi. And so Nordman is very active on my channel. Thank you very much for that. Well, all of you Bavarian, and it's not him, but nice to see you, Nordman. I know all of you are very active, so for that matter, it was not meant to just highlight Nordman, but anyway, I appreciate all the comments, and I think you all know that. So Eric, +8. Is it +8? Could that be because the Morgan +8? Not sure. But anyway, there is a thread on Renlist about it. Also GT4 owners got it. How about Spider owners? Did they get it? So I need to find that. So if anybody could post me on Instagram and send me a link on a private message, that would be great. So coming back to Simon, you are absolutely correct about the production issues. I really hate this YouTube. What's happening, guys, just to understand what I'm doing, is that I'm trying to read the message from Simon, and suddenly the message disappears like now, and I have to get back to it. Really annoying. I'm trying my best here, guys, so please be patient with me. You're absolutely correct about production issue. The entire world is interconnected. Here we go, interconnected these days. And with modern lean production, no parts are kept in stock at the factories. Good answer before. Thank you, Simon. That is the true, and it's nothing to do about, as I said, if one part is missing, the car will not be manufactured. So back to Michael. You are correct. I was unable to get my first GT 2 years ago because of that. You explained, about the dealers not being playing fair game. Consequently, the stupidity has stopped and the GT prices have significantly softened. Agreed, and to be honest, I get a lot of message saying that should I pay this much overprice for a GT car, rather if it is a Speedster or if it is a GT3 or anything. My recommendation is actually not give them an offer on the list price, because if people don't buy the cars above list price, then they're not able to sell it. And what's going to happen is that people that does not care, that just want to look cool for a week or two, will throw the $50,000 extra on a car, and then they try to sell it. And if more of us say that we are not willing to pay about list price on GT cars that are new. Remember, I'm not saying that you should pay list price of a vintage car, or let's say a 991 911R, for an example, because that's older cars. I'm talking about the new ones, right? The GT4 Spider and the last GT3, GT2, Speedster, etc. The Speedsters that are out for sale today, you shouldn't buy them for other than list price. basta. That's my opinion, culture. Yeah, religion perhaps even. Oh, getting excited here, guys. So let's continue. Let's see just if I have answered all the questions for now. As well, for you that just arrived, welcome to my live stream. This is my first live stream ever on YouTube. Feel free to ask me anything. I'm going to try to answer all the questions as you put them in. I'm going to try to pick them up. In the meantime, as now, when you don't have any questions to answer, I'm going to clean my garage because I'm moving from the first step to the second step of my old can gaskets. Well, I'm replacing this gasket on my 928, and I'm on phase 2 very soon. And in order to do that, I want to just make a quick clean. Oh, nice! One question. I just saw it from a very huge distance. So give me a second. I will attend to your question as soon as possible. If you have any more questions, just put them in, and I will try to answer it. Here we go. Come on. So what I'm currently doing is that I just sort my tools out. I like when I have some order when I'm working in the garage. So let's see what the question was. Remember, just throw any question. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Can you copy the link from here? Now, I am so sorry, Eric. Thank you very much for providing me with the link of the discussion of the survey to the GT owners. I am on a live stream, so I will not be able to see it. Perhaps you can. I'm not sure how live streams work at this place. This is the first time I do a live stream. By the way, if you like me doing this live stream, you have to put comments below that you would like to have that again. You have to push that like button, subscribe to my channel and all this. So, because then I will understand that I should continue with that. Because personally, to be honest, I don't appreciate watching YouTube, this type of video, but I understand many of you do, and I'm gonna respect that. But I need to understand the level on quality, because in this garage, for example, we have a lot of echo going around, and I'm worried about the sound quality, etc. I will put it in the comments. Thank you, Eric. Thank you a lot. For everybody, Eric is contributing. Remember, we talked earlier about the surveys that the GT owner is getting. Eric, I presume, has found the link to the conversation on YouTube about that, and everybody could just join in to follow that and see what it's all about. Since I don't own a GT car currently, well, I don't get the service, so to speak. Apparently, GT4 owners also have got the survey. I sincerely hope the survey is all about how Porsche centers around the world are treating their customers with overpriced, over-list priced for those vehicles. I sincerely hope Porsche take responsibility into that question, and I sincerely hope that people do not buy cars over list price that are currently for sale, and that includes the last GT3 RS Speedster and others. So let's see if I think I saw a new comment and a question. If you have any question in the live chat, just throw them at me and I will try to answer them. You're doing great and very interesting, Janko. Thanks you. Okay, Michael. Thank you for me knowing that. I presume you referred to that I was asking you earlier on about me doing this type of video, and I'm worried about the quality and if this is an appropriate way to meet my audience. I'm going to get statistics of this, so it's going to be very interesting to see. And perhaps remember, this is a test. One thing that really is on my mind in terms of, let's talk a bit about my YouTube channel, is if I'm going to perform this kind of live broadcasts, then I need to kind of tell everybody that from this time I will broadcast, so you can join if you would like. Oh, I'm so happy for all the questions that you throw. It's much easier for me to keep going if I get proper questions. So, yeah, so here we are. So, pure Koyo. Yeah. Hello, my friend. How long have you been working on the cars? Yep. So, thank you for the question. So, let's back off so everybody can see it again. I have to change an angle, get some cinematography into this. Anyway, my 928. So I started last week. Actually, I had made a couple of videos. I'm gonna see if I can add something up and do a proper video about that. But I started to clean up the garage and prepare to maintenance for my Porsche 928. And then last Sunday, I started to remove the hood. And yeah, here we are. This is actually so you can see what it is. This is my hood to my car. So I had to remove that. And the reason I have removed my hood is because, and now I'm gonna lift you again for earlier viewers. You have already seen it. My engine is currently on these blue engine support. So everything underneath the car. Well, actually, if I actually would remove the gearbox and all the cables, then I would be able to remove the engine. That's how much parts I have been removing. So that I had a live broadcast on Wednesday, and Thursday I was busy with work, and yesterday I had some really tough times trying to get parts off the car. It ended up with blood in my ears, etc. It was messy. Oof. But I live broadcasted on Instagram. If you haven't seen my Instagram, just go search for jankolind and you will find me. I post things. I try to have different content on Instagram and YouTube, and some of them are equal, but I just try to mix it up properly. So yeah, what's that? That's a couple of weeks, I would say, if you count the days, but in hours, I don't know, 12? That was a guess. So I think I got a more question. Thank you so much. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask, and I will try to answer all of them. You have told on YouTube that you have been a Porsche customer since you were 18. I think it is 19, but anyway, again, so what I'm doing right now is that it disappears. Could you do a video about your Porsche CV one day with comparison, what you loved, what you liked, and what you don't? Yeah, that's actually a good idea, Simon. That's a really good idea. I mean, one thing I can share that I think I haven't shared is that why did I start the YouTube channel in the first place? So the thing was, I think this was back end of 2017, and I needed to be in front of the camera at work, right? And I was standing there and trying to get the message through, and suddenly the producer just, raised his head above the camera and said, Janko, you're useless in front of the camera. And I thought, that's not good. I love being a leader. I love coaching people, and I love watching people grow in their work. And I love seeing that, and I realized I need to be able to be in front of the camera and express myself. So my current manager and I talked about, that's a very good idea. Do we have any program for that? Do we have any courses? And we didn't find anything that was, something I can use. And suddenly I just said, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And from that point, I didn't know the content, because for me it was all about education and getting to know and being able to standing like I'm doing right now and talking to you guys. That was my entire goal with the YouTube channel. So I thought, if I'm going to train that, I cannot spend calories on finding the correct content. So I realized, if I want to have content that is not work related, what will that be? Well, I have been a Porsche owner since I was 19 years old. I'm passionate, if you haven't noticed, I'm very passionate about Porsche, and therefore Porsche was my content, right? So I started out, and I think it was M 2017. I started to study how to make YouTube and how to. Well, actually, I have never held a camera in my life. I have never opened an editing program or anything, and I started to teach myself, and that's how my YouTube channel was born. And then I realized how much content I have on Porsche, and I thought perhaps it would be of interest to share it with others. So that's Simon, how it's all started with a YouTube channel, and perhaps a story like that could be done with my entire Porsche history. Yeah. The highlight and the peak is very easy for me to say, and it was in the beginning of 2000. I had a garage at Nurburgring, so I jumped into an airplane. I flew down on the weekends. I had my GT3 996 GT3 Mark 1, still one of the best Porsches ever made. I jumped into it, went to Nordschleife and drove. I did that for 1 year or 1.5 years, I would say. The garage I had for 1 year. I made over 600 laps on the Nordschleife. On Instagram live broadcast yesterday, someone asked me what was my lap time, and it was 7 minutes 50 seconds bridge to Gantry. Back then, Walter Earl drove the, if I remember correctly, the 996 GT3 Mark II in 7 minutes 45 seconds, but that it was the entire circle, not bridge to Gantry. So I don't have to be ashamed apparently for that lap time. So let's see, I think we had some more question. So Simon, here we are. Eric, I have to leave. Oh, I'm sorry. I will go out into my garage now. I inspired him. Good for you. This was fun and a cool way of interacting. Good job. Please do more live streams. Okay, thank you. If anyone wants me to do live stream, please let me know. Random Hawks, Janko, please keep up the live streams. Very helpful. Do you think the 718 Spider would be better named as GT Spider, as to eliminate the debate whether it is truly a GT car? We had some really good discussions on my comments on one of my YouTube videos where I said that this was the wording. I think it is quite exciting. I said that the 718 Spider is a GT product, but it could be questions because it's only the aerodynamics and the chassis that Porsche Motorsport has been involved in the development of the 718 Spider. But then I got some really interesting comments where some people that I have never done. For me, a GT car has always been where Porsche Motorsport has made development. That has been kind of the guidance for me, what is a GT car and on. But for a gentleman on the comments, I cannot remember his name, he said that, well, for me the Spider is definitely not a GT car because they don't have a proper race car with that. So if you have it, you know that we have a GT4 Club Sport, that is a proper race car, and you have the GT3 Cup, that is a proper race car, but we don't have a Spider, right? Because the all series I know about them does not allow convertibles in, well, Formula, obviously, Formula E and Formula 1, etc. But you understand what I mean. And I thought, yeah, that's another way of thinking. What is a proper GT car? Should Porsche have made a proper race car of the model to be called a GT car? Well, for debate, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have the answer for that. But for me, at least, a GT car is where Porsche Motorsport has been active in the development of the car. So for me, the Speedster is a GT car. For me, the 718 Spider is a GT car. GT4, GT3, etc. And 911R, for an example, that's also a GT car for me. Because then they didn't make a, let me put it this way, GT3 Touring then, is that a GT car or not? Because they haven't made a race car out of that, have they? Or not? It's a bit different of the debate, but at least that's my point of stand when it is what is a GT car or not. And for me, is it when the Porsche Motorsport department has been involved in the development. But I respect those gentlemen and ladies that put a GT car when they have a proper race car. I cannot debate in that. So here we are. I think we have some more questions. If you have any question, do not hesitate. Just shoot. Yeah, and it was the name. Sorry, random. I forgot one part of your question. Absolutely. For me, 718 should be reserved for the 4-cylinder displacement. If they would call it, I would rather have GT4 Spider instead of 718. And yeah, that's my fault anyway. I don't like them having used. Remember my videos that I have already published with my Spider? I have removed the badge and I have purchased a 550 Spider because, yeah, that's more appropriate for me at least. And yes, I know it's the 718 model that they have made the Spider out of, and it's reasonable with that. But for me, the 718 should only be 4-cylinder engine. If it is called GT Spider, I would prefer GT4 Spider, I believe. So let's see where we are. Sorry, I just need to scroll a bit here. Thank you for all the questions. So we're down to Michael. I like your view. I'm considering uplifting my 991.1 Carrera S 3.8 with after-sales shocks, power kick, new light exhaust system, and experience worth it. Okay, so I get so many comments or questions on my Instagram and directly on my mail for people asking me, I'm thinking of making modification to my Porsche. First of all, one question I get is, do you appreciate when people leave stock from Porsche? And I said, yes. I mean, I think that's a part of owning a Porsche, that you buy a brand new one, you have the availability of the performance when it is new. Over time, when it ages, it's very easy for Porsche owner to maintain the performance and even increase it over time by doing modification to the cars. And as you all know, debate in the media and all the things that happens right now is pretty much all about the exhausts, right? When I've been involving in that questions as well, and everybody, I get tons of questions. Would you change the exhaust in your Spider, etc.? Let me put it this way: looking at the prices of the exhaust, not a chance in a million. Who would throw $3,000 or even more on an exhaust for that kind of money? Buy proper driving experience. Buy a new chassis, for crying out loud. I can never understand why people are throwing money towards a sound instead of the chassis. That's me. Sorry, guys, I think I owe you an apology. Sorry for being a bit harsh right now, but I think it is important to understand that there are people like me in the Porsche community that put driving in the first place, and that the driving is the essential part. And actually, I've got a questions. I think it was on the live stream on Instagram. 888MF joined me. I think it was last Wednesday, and he was like, "Oh, you fixing the car yourself?" Like, yeah, why not? Because if I understand my cars and if I am able to understand it from the very bolt and nut to the steering wheel, for me it would be much easier to connect. When I had my GT3, the first thing I did was popping it up, looking underneath, understanding how the construction looked like. Remember when my engine was removed, I was at the workshop, I wanted to see, understanding the vehicle. And it's a connecting phase, and that's one part of the community. And then there is another part of the community that appreciates the brand, that wants to, highlight the Porsche brand, driving the brand, and salute the Porsche Motorsport victories, and they daily drive their Porsches, right? And then there is a third category, and that's the category, well, you know, where look at me, I drive a Porsche. And for those people, sorry guys, I don't understand it, because if you want to show off, I believe there is other brands that will shout louder than a Porsche. But anyway, that's the three categories of people. Perhaps you know a fourth category, please let me know. I'm not sure if I answered the right questions or not here, so let me just check. Thank you very much for all your questions. If you have a question on your mind, don't hesitate to ask me. So let's go back to Michael again, to just make sure that I answer the questions. After sales shock, definitely. Just go for the chassis, and don't do a power kit and exhaust. Just do the shocks, right? Because it's going to do marvelous on your especially on the 991.1. I promise you, go with that. And if you have the money, go with the Öhlins. And that's the true story as well. I had my first Öhlin experience on my Cayman T, remember? And I couldn't control it. It was irritating. Yeah, it was, because I was not expecting that much more driving experience by going by Öhlins. Because I've done Bilstein and KW, etc. No, not KW, sorry, but Bilstein I've had, etc. And it's, for me, it's like, that will, you know, make the ride much firmer, and I will get more grip, but not with Öhlins. Irritating. The comfort level was better with the Öhlins Road and Track. The performance on the corners was better. The only thing that got worse was the potholes. That was not a nice experience at all. But lowering the car, getting more performance when I do active driving, and better comfort when I transport myself. How did I do that? So if you have the money, go for the Öhlins. I'm sorry, that's disclaimer. Yes, I got my shocks from Öhlins, but I'm actually thinking of buying that to my Mini. So let's see, where are we? I think I have answered your question, Michael. If not, then please let me know. Back to Bavaria. You should do a jankolind meeting at Nurburgring. 600 laps are quite impressive. It's really experienced driving there. Yeah. Okay, so let's do Nurburgring for a second. First of all, back in the days, remember this is 20 years ago, almost. So back then I was not a father. And this is very important. I drove my car, let me put it this way, I come to Sweden Kreuz, above 250 kilometers an hour, lifting the throttle because the car was in the air. That's how I drove the car. I turned in the corner, I went sideways in over 200 kilometers an hour, right? It takes a lot of, big, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say on YouTube, but, kahunas to do that. Anyway, if I would go back to, and when I left Nurburgring, I actually said to myself, this is not good, because I was pushing. And I think I lost the car in Fuchsröhre in 200 kilometers an hour. I spin around like crazy. And I'm not sure if it was skill or luck, but I let go of the pedal to make sure the rotation was in a straight line, keeping me on the track. I stopped the car. I actually have this on video, and no, I'm not going to publish it. I had a friend in my car at that point as well. I mean, just lift the mind of that. I'm having a friend on my right side and putting him in this danger. I didn't like it at all. Anyway, I checked the car. Everything was okay. The cars that I have already passed was passing me then, me standing on the grass. The car was actually, remember, I lift the foot from the brake to keep my car in a straight line. So the tire seems okay, the gearing seems okay. So I went out, turned the car left and right, felt it, and yeah, it works good. And I just continued driving, and that particular lap with a 360 spins, one after another, was 8 minutes 55 seconds. Back in then, 20 years ago, it's not a big time today, but back then there was a club under 9 minutes, because that was a difficult time for 20 years to go. And that type of driving needs less brains than I have now. And I will not put my title as a father at that risk driving on Nurburgring. So I'm not sure if I want to go to Nurburgring, because I know my horn will come out again. And last year I turned down a free drive to Nurburgring. So clear that off the table. Not saying I'm not going to do it. I'm saying that it's a lot of emotions for me to doing that. So a meet up at Nurburgring. Remember that there was supposed to be a meetup this May with Porsche Club Sweden. We have our yearly festival, but that has, due to Corona, been moved. Otherwise, I checked with the border at Porsche Club Sweden, so that was the entire plan, closed, right? So let's see, meetup. Yes, I will think about that. I need to figure out where my viewers are, because I have almost 10,000 subscribers, so we are not a huge community, and it's very difficult to understand, okay, where should that be, how will the participation be, and etc. So if you have another place that's not Nurburgring, please let me know, and I will take that under consideration. So thank you very much for the question. So let's see, where are we? So back to SS. Agreed. If motorsport is involved, it's a GT car. Race DNR doesn't make it a race car. Thank you, SS. This was a comment back when we discussed the naming, etc., and definition of a GT car. Thank you for contribution, SS, and thank you all for all the questions. If you have a question in mind, don't hesitate, just throw them, and I will try to answer them. So I have a 718 GTS. This is pure Koiro, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I hope I didn't offend you. I have a 718 GTS manual. Will be installing an aftermarket air filter, lightweight battery, and exhaust. What are your thoughts on tuning the ECU afterwards? Well, I think I'm going to go back to Michael that we talked about how to modify your Porsche. I would focus on the chassis. Go with the Bilstein KW or Lins or whatever. That's the first step if you don't have a GT car. When that is done, then I would look at other things like brakes, tuning, etc. Number one, chassis. Number two, according to your wishes, then okay, throwing the exhaust on the second place, it's okay. Open air filter. Well, actually that might be enough to change the sound that would be appreciated for you. So go with the chassis. That's my, anyway. So let's see, live chat. So let's see where we are. SS again, love this form, Jay. Keep up the great work for the collective and making your art. Thank you very much. So this is new for me, doing live stream for you that just arrived. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. I was supposed to clean up the garage, but you guys has been so thankful. So you threw a lot of questions to me, and I try to answer them as fast as I can. So, so let's see. SS agreed too. Applauds to SS. Oh, thank you. Everybody applauding that I'm doing live streams. I guess this is not last time. So back to Simon again. Guys, spend the money on experience with your Porsche, not with equipment that does not matter, like the exhaust Janko is talking about. Agree. Ooh, Simon, what a great contribution. Thank you so much. I agree. Use your money to experience it. Let me put it this way, get personal training on a track day instead of tuning your car. That would most likely speed up the car as much as putting a new chassis into your car. That was a really good contribution, Simon. Thank you very much. Why didn't I thought about that? I think it has to do something about me being an old guy that things that I have landed my knowledge in driving, I haven't. I have much more to learn. So back to Michael. Thank you, great advice, appreciated. Okay, great. Back to Bavarian again. Thank you for sharing your Nurburgring experience. Sounds good. You should not drive yourself then. Yeah, that could actually be the thing. We meet up in Nurburgring and I'm not driving. When U1 arrives, do we get to see the beautiful 944? Well, Radja, you were on the live stream, I think it was yesterday, and I think I saw that tomorrow U1 will arrive with his Porsche 944 S2. So as soon as this beauty is done, we're going to put his car up and we're going to do some brake renovations. And also he needed space in his garage for his GT4. So yeah, we have some logistics things to take care of tomorrow. Absolutely. So that's definitely going to happen. And unfortunately, the guys live right now I ran out of questions. So what you're saying is I'm going to get back to work. Let's get this a bit closer. So here we are. Or did I just receive another question? No. But if you have any question, do not hesitate to throw them at me. So I'm going to, here we are. So I'm sorting out the bolts and nuts at this point. I had some hectic days yesterday. It was it was a bit scary, I believe, for someone, because I was bleeding quite heavily on my ear. Thank you, I saw your question, I will get to it. So yesterday when I was removing this huge, let me show you. Yesterday we removed this support. This is actually where, if I didn't have the support on top of the car, this is where the engine is fitted to. And when I was about to remove this, I had some, to say at least, problem to remove it, and I was standing with my crowbar and I lost grip, and the crowbar flew right into my ear and I started to bleeding. And I didn't notice it, but everybody on the live broadcast on the Instagram, they like, oh, you're bleeding. And suddenly someone said, can someone tell them that in Swedish? And then I realized, okay, perhaps I'm bleeding. And I did. I'm going to get a proper 928 scar on my ear here. So anyway, live chat. I think I have a question. So back to Mark. Have you considered a drive around the North Coast 500? Yes, I have. Actually, I'm gonna, let's see. Oh, I don't like when the live chat, what I'm doing, sorry for this interruption, guys, but the comments fades away from me. So here we are, Mark. Have a drive around the North Coast 500, more leisure than Nurburgring. Well, I have yesterday, spoiler alert, but if the Corona crisis kind of loosen up a bit, I have a plan to do something really strange. I'm gonna go camping with my spider. Yes, you heard me right, and I'm gonna go to Sweden, and I'm gonna go do a proper camping with tent and everything, and driving on really tough B roads with my spider. Not sure if it's gonna be appreciated, not sure if I'm gonna get the story right, but I'm very pumped to get that going. So let's see what that's gonna end up. So thank you for the question, Mark. So if you have any question, then don't hesitate. Just do as random hawks do right now. He says, Janko, have you seen the YouTube video by Vehicle Williams showing a back road drive with a 718 Spider alongside the 991 GT3? The drone footage for the first minute is beautiful and well done. Not sure if I've seen so many YouTube videos with 991 GT3 and Spiders, and there are so many great content creators out there. Most likely yes, but I cannot recognize which one we're talking about. Sorry. Don't know. So continue clean up. If you have any question, please let me know, and I will try to answer it as so now I'm just going to drop down to fit this bolt here. So what I'm doing is I'm still here with you. I cannot control the camera and work at the same time. That's one problem. But I just make sure that I understand which bolts goes where. Actually, perhaps we should do a teaching. I got a question, I think it was yesterday, where they asked me if I had a system where the bolts goes, right? So I'm actually going to do the same story here on this YouTube. So I'm going to try to teach one thing, if you don't know, but this is, perhaps you have seen such a paper. This is, this is a, a spare part list, or this picture is from the workshop manual for the 928. And we all know that each spare part has a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can turn it around and then you can read what it is, right? But not all knows that this is actually the exact order how to mount all the pieces. So you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is actually a system then that keep track on which bolt and nut goes in the vehicle. So it's actually quite easy, and that even go for the spare part list. So if you get a printout from a spare part and you have these numbers, then you know the order how to fit it on your car. Not sure if that was available, was any news for you or not, but here it is. I think I got some more questions during my explanation. We have been broadcasting for 77 minutes. Instagram is it automatically closed down, but YouTube seems to have that still going. So let's see. So here we go. Simon did that with my Cayman. Do it, Janko. Practical enough with the frunk. Not sure, Simon, what you're referring to. Have you released how big the chances are that you will do mistakes during assembling while you're live streaming? Well, I did yesterday. I cut my ear, so I'm quite open. Yeah, exactly. I agree. So that is something that I've been thinking about, Simon, because yesterday the way I have done my live broadcasting is that before I go out to the garage, I read the workshop manual. So I try to memorize the steps, what I'm going to do. Then I go into the live streaming, and hopefully I remember which order to do what. But it's extremely difficult, and it is a risk for me. And actually on the Instagram yesterday, I had certified Porsche mechanics viewing me when I was working with my car. So it was not only that it is a risk that I do a mistake, I was guarded by Porsche mechanics as well. So it was a bit, well, how should I put it? I'm most likely going to get some comments next time I visit Porsche Center Stockholm. Anyway, I understand the comments, and I'm not sure if I'm going to live stream when I put the car back, to be honest. That is something I have to think about anyway. So, yeah. Let's see if there is any more questions. Yeah, it's like camping. Yeah, that's me. Actually, one personal thing is that each Saturday on August, a couple of years ago, we and my family just drove a couple of kilometers away from where I live, and we tented on the beach, and we did that. So yeah, I like tenting. Yeah, definitely. I like tenting, and it's getting close to the nature. Perhaps that's why I appreciate the convertibles. Yeah, don't know. Anyway, yes, camping, and I'm going to do it with a spider, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pull it off or not, and most likely you will see me fail if I do. See it as entertainment. Don't forget to like this live stream if you really would like to keep me going. I'm not sure if it will be saved to my YouTube account. That's something that we're going to find out later on. This is the first time I do live stream, and the questions are done for now. So if you have any question, do not hesitate to ask them at all. So here we have the engine, the bolts from the engine mounts. Oh, here we go. I start actually to feel a bit more happy with the order. So yeah, I will be back. Let's see if we have done. If you have any question, don't hesitate. Just throw them in the live chat, and I will try to answer them as quick as possible. Here we go. Ooh. I have another problem that I'm not sure how to solve. You see, underneath my entire car, they have put textile as rust protection. And it's quite interesting because, it's very greasy when you're working with your car, but on the same time, I would like to get rid of it as quickly as possible now when I have the parts out, and it's so damn hard to do that quickly. I'm not sure. I'm going to try some things, and I will try to see what I can do about it. Yeah, and Tjena Janko, yeah, hi. Anyway, if you have any question, don't hesitate, just put them in the live stream chat, and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. So yeah, I think I'm starting to get things cleaned up here. And that was the entire purpose of today. What time is it? What kind of a live stream is this? So I have no clue what time it is, but actually I'm gonna, yeah, you can see what I'm gonna do afterwards. Yeah. So actually I'm gonna show you where I'm about to go. This is gonna be very personal, but this is just leaving my garage right now, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with probably, and that's what I'm gonna check, because I have a passion outside Porsche, believe it or not, and that is, as the Scandinavian always gives, is sauna. So I'm gonna see if my sauna is warm. Let's put the lights up here. So yeah, here is my sauna, and I'm gonna see. Ooh, it's ready. I have about 80 degrees. It lets me back up if you want to see it. So yeah, there is my sauna, and that's what I'm about to do very soon. So I'm just gonna go back to see if I done the things I should do in the cleaning. So you see, here is if you have seen the picture on my Instagram, there is the lake in front of my house where I photograph with. I'm recording this with my phone. Please let me know if the quality, and here she is. That has not been revealed, but that is my Mini, and I'm modifying it heavily, and I really love driving this car, even though I know all the Porsche fans that I have here does not Appreciate it. Windy. Yeah, I'm going in. It's Sweden. Ugh. So anyway, here we are. Let's see if we have any more questions, because as you saw, Mini time, definitely. I appreciate my Mini. Yeah, I like driving in. Which draft beer is that? Aha. This is, I need to show you that. Going back to my sauna, because that's not beer. I should have checked that. Sorry guys, now we have to take the walk again. And actually, that door there, that's my studio. So, yeah. If this is good YouTube video, I'm gonna laugh. Yeah, I'm getting dizzy as well. So this is, well, it feels like draft, but if you have seen my hat, this is still sparkling. And it gives me 100% clean water. This is sparkling and non-sparkling. And I use these bottles and I fill them up before I go to the sauna. So this is... And then I just go into my sauna and have the time of my life. That's my resilient point. I love it. I'm as passionate with sauna as I am with cars. Okay, who was it? Yeah, no. You're getting drunk because I'm moving around. Oh, I see my beautiful Mini again. Here it is. Let me just show you a few mods that I have done already. I have removed the wipers. Well, if Nick Murray sees this, I cannot stand rear wipers, not even on a Mini, so I have actually removed them. Ooh, I'm so happy with that. They are actually right here, so I have repainting the rear of the Mini and make it, well, like properly. It feels like a factory, but it's not. In factory, it goes from here and up. You'll figure it out. Watch another video with a Mini and you will understand. Tinted the front windows, etc. Okay, so here we are. Actually, I have not many people know that I have a Mini Instagram as well, Janko_Mini, and you will go to my Instagram account for the Mini. I'm a big Porsche fan too, but mainly older Caymans. My dad loved the 928. Oof. Good dad. Actually, I'm a 911 guy, but you know, the 928 is growing. Clean ass. I hope you're referring to my Mini. Yeah, no magic, you're getting dizzy. So I think we have done pretty much everything. I have sorted up a few things in my garage. If you would like me to do more of these live streams, like this video, subscribe to my channel, write the comments. Should I be in my garage? Should I be in my studio? Just give me something to work with to see if it is. I mean, I recorded this with my cell phone. I will be surprised if people are happy with the quality, but please let me know. As you saw, my sauna is 80 degrees Celsius and I'm getting to the sauna and relaxing, and most likely I'm gonna do some sauna with my family. Wash your hands for minimum 30 seconds, take care of your family, and thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. Please let me know if I should continue to do this. Have a nice weekend, guys. How do I stop the live stream now?